everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Jacksnax. Today we're going to talk about the E7 sharp 9 chord and how to solo over it effectively and creatively. All right, so stay tuned and we'll break down that solo I just played for you in the beginning there. At the heart of this chord is this amazing amount of dissonance between a major third here in this octave, on the D string, this is the typical voicing of it, right? Right, so on this D string here at the 6th fret, and here on the B string at the 8th fret. So that's our minor third, and that's our major third. So we've got an E7 chord with all of a sudden this minor third up top. Okay, and that's what creates this amazing altered tonality, right? We've got this baked in dissonance. So most players tend to just play minor over top of this, all right? And occasionally will bend into out of the minor up into the major third. Okay, nothing wrong with that approach. However, there are some kinkier moves that you can get into if you're so inclined. And so while I don't know if I would necessarily play all of my deliberately clashy ideas back to back to back to back like I did in this little tutorial, it's nice to have some of this stuff in your back pocket. So let me break down what I did and what I'm shooting for throughout the whole process, okay? First thing, the intro, I'm playing around with some harmonics. If you hit the E string right here above the dot, basically, all right, it's gonna sound the flat 7 of the E. That's our D note. Then if we come here, so this right here, that's E, so it's going E, D, and then this note here. So we're going harmonic in the middle of the 3rd fret to the actual 5th fret. That sounds a normal E. And then if we come to the 4th fret, we get the 3rd of our E chord. So you get the 7, the root, and the 3rd. Leave the 3rd sustaining, and then we can play the 7 here on the D, and the G string will play the minor third. So once these two are going, that's playing the sharp 9 chord in harmonics. So I do that twice. And then the next little part of my riff, which I just cutesy pie figured out, which is, so that's 3, 4, flat 5, tonic. So harmonic, harmonic, fret, open E, okay? And that's that little part in the beginning. I screwed around a little bit in the opening with a little opening like D, and this is, okay, so really what's happening back here is if you break it down, I think one of these notes is a C sharp. Now I'm not certain if that will work on any other guitar other than a Strat. With this geometry, though, you get a C sharp out of the D string and a D note off of the G. Okay, so it ends up giving it this nice kind of crunch right in there. Hang on, let me get rid of some of the gooey stuff. So you get the distance between like the flat 7 and the 6. Okay, so that's just playing off of the close interval, dissonance stuff. Okay, after that we go into some fairly standard Hendrixy kind of so a big 2-fret bend here, a lot of wiggling around from A to B, and I have my Strat set up with a relatively bright sound on the bridge, right? That's right, but the neck is set totally with the tone rolled all the way off. So then you'd have, all right, I don't know, I don't have a wah-wah set up at the moment, and I just went for it and did that. Okay, so we bend up 2 frets. 3-fret bend from B up to the flat 7, so that's the 5 of our chord up to there, okay? Minor 3rd, with a lot of vibrato. Open E, and then again to the back of this, behind the nut, thingy. Okay, and that's the intro, which is that's all cheap. That's all fun and games there. But this is where it kind of gets fun. So let me break down this next lick for you in another section. All right, the second chunk of this thing starts out with this bend from the flat 7 up to the root. So that's going to be on the B string, 3rd fret. Okay, so that's the riff. Then I'm going to tap a 12th fret harmonic here. Okay, so all you're doing is taking the fleshy part of your middle finger and pointing roughly right over the 15th fret. Okay, apply a lot of downward pressure and quickly slide up to that 15th fret. And if you're lucky, this is an old steel trick. Lap steel players hit a harmonic with the steel, and they can slide the harmonic, not just the actual pitch. So if you play your cards right and you hit this nicely, I'd say I'm about 50-50 on this. Whoop. Right, you'll come up and you'll be able to get a harmonic to continue to sustain, and if you're lucky, you can get maybe another note in there to give it some of that crazy kind of psychedelic passion thing. I think I got it actually on the opening lick. There, that was the harmonic. I overshot the fret by 1 fret. Sometimes you have to call an audible. So that was a 1 fret bend. I was shooting for here. Okay, so you can hear how the harmonic comes out, and this is kind of a high-risk lick, I guess, in terms of, it's not the most consistent thing for me. Whoop. Okay, so that's it when you come up. Okay, and now we're going to play. So that's going to be all in the 15th and 12th frets. Okay, and the trick here is to go slide up into the 13th fret G. So now we're hitting our major 3rd, and then we're going to let them both sustain at the same. And then you want to bend the G ever so slightly to rub up against like your. Okay, and it's okay to be edgy and noisy with the univibe and all the gain and the. This is not supposed to be a soothing sound. It's supposed to be kind of a jarring. Now the second part of that lick is one of these kind of dealies where you fret the 12th fret high E, fret the 14th fret B, and bend. Okay, so we're bending from the 6th up into the 7th. Then we're going to come back here to the flat 5th on the B string. That's the 11th fret, and here at the 9th fret E, and we're going to bend both strings up 1 tone. Or you could do it here. I do it here because of the next move. I like to apply vibrato here at the 12th fret with my ring finger across both the G and the B string. You can do, but when I do that, the B string always seems to shake loose. So when I want the B string to ring out together, that's why I opted for, it's kind of like chess. You just got to think one move ahead. So in order to do this, I got to be here. So I can't do it here. I guess I could do that, but that's kind of unnatural. Okay, so here we go. 12th fret fretted, 14th fret bent, 1 fret. Let the univibe and the gain do a lot of the work. Give it a good smear into it, like that. All right? And then back into our riff. Something like that. Now the next lick is going to be a little bit hard to explain, but I'll play the actual notes. Let me clean up the signal so you can hear them a little bit clearer, okay? That's our opening bit. So it starts at the 10th fret low E. So flat 3, major 3rd. So then there's a three string downward sweep. And then come back to that G note. And that lands right on the downbeat of the actual sharp 9 chords. Like that. So that isn't a sweep, like it's more just like 3 consecutive downstrokes without moving away from the guitar. Okay, so 3 rest strokes. Now my pick is still resting right on the D string here. And then I do some more of that directional picking. Okay, so that's pick, down, rest into the G. Then while that's resting, you hammer on with the ring finger and slide 1 fret. Do the same move with the G string. And now we're in this great position to be able to play the G and the G sharp, which is, again, that dissonance is the nature of the sharp 9 chord that we're soloing over, okay? So that's our flat 3rd and that's our major 3rd. Now don't forget, we're still playing over a pedal tone, basically, that just is like E blues or E. So what's cool is that you can start using this shape and then come up 1 fret. Now you're playing the major 3rd and the suspended 4th. But we keep maintaining that 1 semitone distance away, so it sounds really nice and edgy. Okay? So you can get a feel for that pattern. Okay? Now I only do it 2 times. And after that I do a kind of a quicker version of it. Alright, so it's the same fingering, just the duration changes. And then I do that kind of speedy one once. And then right into a little sweep across a diminished chord. Like that kind of thing. Like that kind of thing. So with a little bit more juice, a little bit more gain, that whole line's gonna sound like. Okay. Okay, so if we bent that high E, we're gonna go up a minor 3rd and bend another. We're gonna just kind of suggest we were bending up from the flat 5 into the 5th of the chord. Okay? And then we're going to come here and do this kind of descending 3rds sequence. So that's down, up, right? So that's just alternate picked, but it's across these two strings, the B and the E, okay? So it's gonna be, sorry. Okay, now I play it with these two fingers, and then reach over. Okay, and then we get into a nice little triplet trill that kind of has a slide and some stuff like that. So let me play that. Like that kind of. And I quickly pivot to that D. I think that's two upstrokes. Yep. Then come up and tag the B and bend up to the octave and tuck underneath the G string. And then I roll to my middle finger to do that Bo Hendrix-y kind of thing, you know. This So I bend up with my middle ring finger and grab the G string once I'm up there. Okay, so all in. And there at the 12th fret on the G with a nice, as much vibrato as you can hit it. So we've just come down the scale using that sequence. All right, we're ending there on the 12th fret, G string. Okay, now I'm going to clean this up so you can hear what's happening. This next line gets a little zany. Okay, we're going to start by doing a pull off to the open D. So that's 14-12 open. Okay, and so we're going to start climbing chromatically from the F sharp up to B, while at the same time coming down the scale from G sharp down to E. So watch this. So now we've established the G and the G sharp in two separate octaves. So this is kind of the inversion of the first thing we did, which was playing the G in this octave and the major third here. So this is the sharp 9 chord in its essence, right? We've got the major and the minor third an octave up. But you could invert them, and that's what I'm doing here. I put the major third up and the minor third down. And it sounds even more jarring, frankly, in my opinion anyway. I'm used to hearing this, but that just sounds like a ring modulator or something nutty. So anyway, I'm gonna start coming chromatically down while this is coming up. So. Right, that kind of thing. And that's what's happening there. So after we do that contrary motion lick where we're coming up and down at the same time. Okay, once you get up to there, that's kind of a big stretch, right? You've got to make your middle fingers do that slide. You don't have to hit them at the same time, so you don't have to be in that position holding both strings down. You can jump. Then I do kind of this diminished idea. So that's the flat fifth of our E, and that's the tonic. Okay, so there's our diminished sound. So that C sharp is here. So we can do that in like, again, we just find a sequential element to it, the diminished sound. Right? So again, okay? Again with the diminished, but we do a little triplet pull off to the open G. That's an upstroke and then a downstroke on the flat 5 of the E chord, bending up towards the B note. Okay. If you add enough goo, and that helps to hide any errant playing, okay? And that's the lick I played. Okay, we're on to our last lick. This one's sort of the coup de grace. So if we're playing over that 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is going to start on 3, 4, like that. Okay, and it comes in an interesting way. It's like a 4-string sweep. So there's just, that's all I'm doing with my right hand. And that the last 2 strings get this symmetrical fingering. All right, so we're going to start our sweep with the pinky at the 14th fret D. Okay, the G is with the middle finger. So this whole line is done like basically with these 3 fingers. Okay, and then we're going to come, once we get to the B string, the pinky has to get up here to the 15th. So that's our first bit to get. All right, so that little bit. Then we're going to get into, let's stop. I'll stop doing the sweep and I'll clean things up and see if we can find our way through this thing a little easier. So let's just break it down, starting from there, like. Kind of run away from the flat 5 down to our flat 3 and then do not this shape, but so that's going up to the 4 and then the raise 4 or flat 5. Do one of those Chris Buck kind of squiggly bends there. So whoop. And then we do the squiggly bend. Now we've got our middle finger on the G string, so let's slide with our ring finger up. Or actually, yeah, I kind of slide up on the middle, I guess, to the 14th fret D string, 13th fret G, 15th fret B, and then 15th fret E. So now we have our E7 sharp 9 chord arpeggiated. And then once I hit the G, I bend the B string up a whole tone. All right, meanwhile, I'm still trying to hold on to the G string there. As long as I can. And if you're lucky, you get that kind of effect where one note's going up and there's this overtone, undertone, sub-octave thing where it goes. It's really kind of an interesting, harsh sound, but there it is. So let's put the univibe and a little bit more gain on it and look at that lick. So we came out of. Okay, then the contrary motion lick. Now the sweep starting from the D. Back into our riff. So that's going to wrap things up for us today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, please share, like, and most of all, subscribe. All right, take care of yourselves, stay healthy, and keep picking. Cheers.